Hello and welcome to Experience Share. It's a Pokemon podcast starring me, Metangros.
Metagross.
AKA Tanner Greenring. Weak talent this week, Joshua, in terms of punnable Pokemon names.
Yeah, I think both of these are reused, maybe also, but, you know, clean, kind of classics.
And I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Flygon.
Flygon. Good.
Flygon.
But, you know,
Flygon.
Kind of standbys.
Little syllable swap.
Yeah.
AKA sure Joshua Fjellstead. We play through a Pokemon game week by week, not necessarily gym by gym in the near future because we're headed to the Alola region next.
Where they have trials. And we have to gear up for Gen 8 is on the horizon. Isn't that crazy? I never really thought we were going to catch up. I thought we'd be dead.
I don't think we're going to,
because
isn't there a bunch of new games coming out?
Yeah, Gen 9 is about to start, so we're still going to be outdated for at least a couple more years.
And we have to play Detective Pikachu.
We will be playing.
Stream. That's a AAA main title, flagship title.
We have been teasing the bug catchers with the idea of us playing Detective Pikachu for, I think, the entire run of this show.
Role-playing, you mean?
Yeah. And we will definitely
It'd be fun. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? There's all sorts of like tabletop. Like I honestly I don't understand it, and I want to understand it more. And bug catchers, you're welcome to like at us and explain it. There's a whole world of Pokemon tabletop RPGs, and I know that because there's an even apparently bigger world of Pokemon tabletop RPG podcasts.
A surprising number. Well, where we are is we're on the penultimate episode of this season.
We're playing through the Pokemon games, and we're at the end of this one. We've come to the end of the road, Victory Road.
That's right, it's the end of the road.
And it was quite a journey to get up there, Joshua.
I would say so.
From our lowly start at the beginning of this season, as two love-struck, kind of returning. You know, we went out into the world for a few generations and sowed our wild oats, but now we're back in the Hoenn region, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing all the familiar faces again. And we've done it. We're here now at the end of the season. We're stronger and we're better and more complete and well-rounded people for it, aren't we?
I think so, and I think that our relationships have grown stronger. And maybe next episode we should reflect on how our relationships with our dearly beloveds have grown and the foundation has gotten stronger since we started doing this wedlock.
How the foundation has been shaken.
I think it's been shaken at times as well.
To its core. And still, you know, that core remains strong. I think we do need to rebuild a little bit from that core.
For example,
some damage has been done.
None of the Slowpoke line being approved by your spouse. That seems foundational. Maybe talk about that. Therapy.
Yeah. Definitely going to come up. Where did we leave off last week, Joshua? We beat the 8th gym.
Yes, we beat Wallace.
Yoko what a character
Ono.
He was.
Yeah.
We're off. We take our Aeon Flute. I want to talk about the Aeon Flute for a moment.
I do too. I think we sort of like brushed it off because I didn't really get to use it that much last week.
Yeah. We sort of got it right at the end of the journey last week.
It's so fun.
It's so great. You get to do so much cool shit. First of all, it's got the raddest. The animation takes forever, but it's such a delight that you're like fine with it.
Yeah, it takes a lot longer than Fly to like fire it up. You can go to routes, which is nice, but you do still have to have been to them.
Like weird little spots, which we'll cover here in just a moment. But like,
right, but you have to watch the Latios or Latias like mega evolve, and it takes like 15 seconds. I'm like, fine,
it's awesome.
I'll watch it every time.
And then when it lands, it comes in like for a screaming like buzz by, and your character just like leaps off and like skids to a halt.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It is really nice. And this is something...
And the cool shit you get to do with it is cool too.
They never should have dropped this.
Yeah, I know. Like, what a good feature. Pokemon Company is so dumb with this. We'll talk about it later, but I got a real opportunity this week in Mauville Hills. And I'm
oh, wow. A business opportunity?
Furious. I would say a sexual opportunity.
Oh, yeah. Well, don't mix the two.
I'm furious that they do away with Mega Evolutions after this, because now I just will never have access to this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Okay.
That we'll cover later when we get to Mauville Hills. But right now, Josh, we have access to the Eon Flute. We can go anywhere we want in the Hoenn region. It's literally laid out before us like we're gods on top of Mount Olympus. You know where I want to go first?
Where?
Our battle with Bugcatcher Johnny.
Oh, yeah.
We finally did it. Literally the second to last episode of the season. We're talking about the Elite Four this week, and we finally have managed to take on Bugcatcher Johnny.
We got our lives
AKA
together.
Sleepy Shinji from the r/Bugcatchers subreddit.
So, note, Bugcatchers, if you participate in the Trainer of the Week on the subreddit, we will still honor it, but maybe it's almost the end of the following season.
Scheduling.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's
our
tough.
people. We're talking to Bugcatcher Johnny's people,
and
we made it work.
We made it work. Did our teams make it work? I'm not sure.
So yes, let's take off for a moment. Let's take off our Hoenn hats.
Yes.
I'm taking mine off and I'm putting it aside, and I'm picking up my
Kalos hat. Yeah, that's it.
And popping that right back on my head.
So these were our X and Y teams. Throwback. Yeah.
So,
which we should remind everyone. Yeah.
I will remind you as soon as I get Pokemon Showdown open.
You had both. What was your character's name? Because on Pokemon Showdown, we have our usernames, which are Mr. Squirt and Fjellstud. So I was Joan of Arceus. I'll say mine, because I just had one team. My team was Dragalge, Delphox, Venusaur, Heliolisk, Togekiss, and Hawlucha. I had the Mewtwo alternate, but Johnny elected, which I would have as well, to go for the normal team.
I'll remind you, Josh, last season was a free-for-all. It was no rules, just right. We got to make whatever characters felt like us.
Right.
Spoke to us in the most resonant way. So Lovemaker 69's team was...
That's it. How could I forget?
Malamar, Lucario, who was Mega Lucario, Go-Goat, Gengar, who is Mega Gengar, Ampharos, who is Mega Ampharos, and Sylveon. A pretty baller team, but Joshua, is it as impressive as Lovemaker 69's second secret team? Jungle Josh, the Simisage, Drippy Josh, the Simipour, Hot Josh, the Simisear, and of course, Xerneas, Mewtwo, and Zygarde.
Well, from what I recall, I crushed both, but I actually crushed the Secret Society with the legendaries even harder, probably because of all the
those Simis are a real handicap.
Bad Joshes on there. So
that's who Johnny was taking on.
And
he had been playing along for the entire season and doing the level checks every week on reddit.com/r/bugcatchers. Please join the community.
Got the most upvotes from the rest of the community for his dedication to the cause, his team, his presentation. And I got to say, I was pretty impressed when he came in swinging with a level 100 team, like organically trained level 100.
Completely like EV trained, like min-max to the extreme.
So we had to level ours up.
But you know what he didn't have? Our scrappiness. Our sort of like mad dog attitude, because
sort of grassroots stuff.
I went toe to toe with him. I was up first. We gave him the choice.
Yeah.
Who do you want? Hey, Johnny, who do you want to be embarrassed by first? And he said, I don't know, sirs, you choose. And we said, how about me? And I said that. How about me?
Well, what did he have? Let's say. He's got a monotype team also.
Yeah.
Well, it is normal. But they're all other than three of them are dual type.
Yeah, and we'll share the links to the battles. We saved the Pokemon Showdown links, so we'll share them after the episode here.
Lose them somehow.
But yeah, he's got all normal types. His name is Demented Goku on Pokemon Showdown. He's a man of many faces. Bugcatcher Johnny.
Yeah.
I should also say, speaking of Goku, that he does have a podcast himself. It's called Anime Territory.
And it's a great name. Hell of a name for a podcast. Anime Territory, where you can find anywhere that you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so go check that out if you like anime. Oname, as I like to say it.
Yeah, but that doesn't work for the pun.
Yeah. I went toe-to-toe with this This Johnny character. And he chose not the joke team. He chose the real team.
Yeah.
And it was a good match, a close match. I had him on the ropes a little bit. Mm-hmm. For a little while.
I rewatched both of our replays.
I had him on the ropes for a little while. Let's just say that.
You lasted 15 turns. I lasted 14 turns. So
yeah, but I had him on the ropes.
You started off swinging, from what I have reviewed recently, where you actually took out like
belligerent
3 or 4 of his Pokemon, but then what we all were very surprised to find was sort of the ringer was
Pyroar.
Pyroar in your case, yeah.
Boof. Yeah, so I
surprised to find that it was resistant to Fairy, right?
I had him on the ropes. I did some pretty huge haymakers on him, and then I did lose. So then he decided to face off against you for the honor of the show, of course. It was embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing.
Okay. As I said,
you were outclassed at every single turn. It was humiliating.
As I said, I only got KO'd 1 turn before you, and I reviewed the tapes specifically to make sure that you wouldn't be able to get away with this propaganda on the show. I was, I think, on the ropes kind of immediately, but I still survived.
You were on your back foot for a while.
Yeah.
Before the cascade finally
came. What happened to me was, and not that it wasn't intimidating on your fight as well, but for me in particular, fucking Mega Kangaskhan.
Oh my God!
What's happening?
There's my fucking sweetie this week. It blasted. Yeah, it's just like, I
agree.
It's just like that scene in Terminator 2. That's what it felt like. I was holding onto the fence and I saw Mega Kangaskhan, and it was so cute that it blasted all my flesh off.
It was insane. I mean, this thing I think just murdered half my team. As soon as it came out.
Oh yeah, it's like a fucking bruiser because it also does 2 hits every single time. It does 2 hits.
Yeah, Parental Bond is its Mega Evolution hidden ability. So every time it uses a move, the little baby, because the Mega Evolution, the baby's hopped out of the pouch and the baby takes a swing too. So you get like
so good.
You see the delivery on Pokemon Showdown, and it's like, okay, well, it was a super effective hit, and it did 90% damage, and you're like, okay, I made it. And then Baby takes a fucking swing, and then it's another 10%, and I'm dead. My Hawlucha was already KO'd.
I love this thing. I mean,
I had no defense.
Obliterated me.
No defense for Kangaskhan. And the others were, it was a good team. If you're doing monotype, it was Heliolisk, Pyroar, Tauros, Snorlax, Staraptor, and Kangaskhan.
Yeah.
You killed Kangaskhan. I never made it past Kangaskhan. I only KO'd 2, I think maybe 3 of his Mon. But once Kangaskhan was out, lights out for me.
Lucario's out. Lucario does close combat. It's super effective.
Yeah, so Kangaskhan, aka Kangaroo was the nickname, returned to everybody. Like,
oh yeah, that's the other thing.
Literally, I took out 3 of his Mon, Staraptor, Tauros.
Johnny said he teaches return to every one of his Pokemon because it's the one that's like high friendship, right?
Well, yeah, and the whole team is normal, so it has stab bonus, I believe, as well. So
smart.
Yeah, beautiful team. I only took out 3, and that was only because Dragalge had Rocky Helmet, and the final return that Kangaskhan used also took out Kangaskhan. So technically, I only killed 2. I got a freebie at the end. Yeah. So well done. And please do check out his podcast, Anime Territory, wherever you listen.
That's me playing my Eon flute, hopping onto the back of my, whichever one mine is.
I think you're Latias. You got the one that Mega evolves into a Concord. Yours is better.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm rocketing up high above the Hoenn region once again, Joshua. And this is just kind of where we are now. We can just go wherever we want. We're gods.
Yeah, and you just get an overhead view of all of Hoenn. And it's beautiful. It's so fun.
Little spots you've never seen before. Little sparkles. Oh, you can get like attacked by like braviaries.
Yeah.
But we're being called away, Josh. We're being tasked with a chore in Mauville City. So that's where I'm headed.
Apparently we could have already done this, but...
We could do this before.
Yeah, I found out after the last episode where I was complaining about not knowing when or how I could ever get Thunderbolt. a bug catcher tweeted at us that it opens up to after Gym 7 or something. And it's like, how the hell would we know this?
Yeah.
Why am I in Mauville randomly?
I went here because Bulbapedia told me to, but like I had no business here.
Same. And it's like I'm supposed
to know. Do you have
to
do this?
No, you just don't have to.
Because it seems like you land in Mauville and Watson's there, and he's like, you have to help me. Look at this light. It's like
he's pondering the statue. Yeah.
Like this light in the middle of Mauville City.
The little
really
like
bright.
Tiny whatever tower in Lumiose, because they're twin cities. He's pondering it, and he's like, something's afoot down in New Mauville, the subterranean like planned
it's like
development.
A dungeon. Yeah, that is under our city and like runs our city, and we don't invite anyone to go down there. Except now, I need you to go down there and fight 1,000,000 Magnemites, so that you can turn off a fucking like
go to the
computer,
make it to the other side, and press a button to make sure that it's not going to all blow sky high.
And then come back here. And also, while you're here, go ahead and talk to some of the neighbors, because Mauville Hills, the fucking like rich part of Mauville that I live in, is an absolute nightmare.
The 1% up here that Watson fucking lives with. So think about that.
Like we had to like get like voice print authorized to even come up here. Although it is pretty swanky treatment. They're like, "Welcome back, Admiral Squirt. We've been expecting you."
Yeah.
It did sort of spur a little. It shook something loose in my head. Some of the citizens of Mauville Hills, if I may introduce a new segment that I think could have some staying power on the show.
Oh my God. It's been so long. Tell me about it.
It's called Burn Damage.
Okay. I like the name.
It's when an NPC does a burn.
Yeah. I feel like that's got some staying power.
There's one apartment in Mauville Hills, and Mauville Hills is like, it's insane. Like, it's a wild place. There's all sorts of like intrigue and espionage happening. Like, I think we see Mr. Bonding's origin story, and it's absolutely like demented.
It's very deranged.
But one of the normal places is an apartment with a young girl and her grandmother, who's used to be a fearsome trainer. Here's what the granddaughter says.
My old granny used to be a fearsome trainer. She was known as the Rotation Fiend. But ever since we lost Granddad, she's lost that old spark of hers. Now all the neighborhood scamps are calling her the Rotation Frump.
And from what I recall, the little name, because you can click on the intercom as well as the nameplate outside of each of these bespoke apartments. Yeah. And I think it says Rotation Grump's apartment. So as soon as she became a grump, they just slapped a new title on there.
Pretty fucked up.
Yeah,
her husband just died.
And this is her granddaughter also burning her?
Yeah. Like she's saying it like I'm just reporting the facts, you know, like, yeah, they have a super fucked up nickname for my grandma. They call her the Rotation Frump. You hear that, Grandma?
Also, your husband's dead.
He's been dead for years, Grandma. Can I tell you about some of the other residents of Mauville Hills?
Please do. I had some notes.
So, apartment 11 is labeled as a powerless man's home. And you walk in, and these are nice apartments. They're big.
Oh, they're giant.
Several rooms.
There might be multiple beds, which you never see in a Pokemon NPC's house.
Yeah.
They have balconies that overlook the courtyard in the middle of...
sometimes there's like TMs on them.
Mauville. There's like little rich boys out there, like pondering their privilege, but not in like a way that's going to actually, you know, provoke any positive change.
You know what's weird? I just realized that the balcony outside of apartment 11, a powerless man's home, had the TM for U-turn. And I wonder if it has to do with the fact of what happens in this apartment. Because you walk in.
Oh, yeah.
And standing in the corner of his bedroom, staring at the wall, is the powerless man. And he just says something like, "I'm powerless." So you walk around to all the other apartments and you start to discover all these like old men who have all this power. And you bring the powerless men to them, and he, I think, destroys them. Or like, I don't know if it's like a Highlander thing or
vampiric.
The old men go away and the powerless man inherits their power.
Yeah. Does he become the like
canonically at the end of this session, he becomes Mr. Bonding.
Like reincarnate.
I think we've witnessed the creation of a new, if not the Mr. Bonding we know from the Kalos region. some new version of it, like Doctor Who, like a regeneration.
Yeah, always being reborn like Sauron.
So that happens here. And then right next door at apartment 12, a frightened man's home, I'm pretty sure we see a hit taking place.
That's what I thought too.
Because there's a man getting hassled outside of his apartment by a tough, and then they go into his apartment. And then I went and talked to Watson and did his fucking chore. Hey Watson, I can't catch anything in New Mauville. You think any of this is authorized by Mrs. Squirt? You're just sending me to do a chore for you. Lazy. Anyway, I came back to tell Watson that I did his fucking dirty work for him.
Yeah.
And the assassin was standing in the hallway and offered me hush money in the form of a lopunite.
Yeah. I got the same.
Which I can't do anything with because Mrs. Squirt hasn't authorized lopunite for some reason.
Well, I could think of
and this is what I was talking about earlier. This is why I'm furious with the Pokemon Company. Because
they made Lopunny too sexy.
Here's my chance. Here's my opportunity. My once in a lifetime opportunity to have a Mega Lopunny.
Yeah.
And I can't. And will I ever have this opportunity again? No, because the Pokemon Company decided they were done with Mega Evolutions after this.
Well, okay. I agree with that part. But technically, isn't it Mrs. Squirt's fault that you can't use Mega Lopunny right now?
It's a whole universe conspiring against me, Joshua.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a conspiracy.
So I thank the man and I carry it with me like a cherished gem, but there's no way I'm ever going to be able to use it. So
I'm so sorry for you. I was happy for me though, because the whole reason that it is a bullshit side quest that's Watson, you could take care of this. Aren't you a famous gym leader? You can't dispatch a few Magnemites and fucking Voltorbs, but nevertheless, you get the Thunderbolt TM 24 out of this.
Nice.
And that solved a lot of my problems.
Yeah, I trained it to Lantern immediately. It was really good.
Yeah. Thunderbolt is chef's kiss.
That's it in Mauville, really.
It's kind of it for the mainland.
We're just we have to go back to the islands, island living.
Yeah, we're on island time.
I grabbed my pina colada and I hopped on the back of my Concorde, my private jet. And I flew to the water routes. But these are the tricky water routes. These are the water routes that are don't take your time, don't explore. It's like a Disneyland ride. You kind of just get swept up.
Yeah, you have to strategically be able to figure out what rapids, tidal waves, that you want to go down in order to try to end up where the trainers are or where whatever item is.
Yeah. Or the exit.
Lots of changes in latitude and attitude.
And the entire time are you being attacked by tentacruels and tentacles the entire time? Yes, of course.
Well, no, because you just use max repel the entire time. I just
so glad they learned their lesson after this generation, or after this game, about the water routes.
Yeah, they put us through it before they learned, though.
Ruby Sapphire were the last great offenders, right?
Oh, yeah.
Other than these remakes. Pacifidlog Town.
Pacifidlog. I had a drink, so let me see if I can do it. Pacifidlog Town. No. Pacifidlog. Pacifidlog? That sounds right. Pacifidlog.
Pacific Town.
Why is the name that?
Serves absolutely no purpose anymore. Yeah. Now that you have the Eon flute, it's just like a stain on the lower part of the Hoenn region. Is there anything there?
No, it's just the dark lore that it's built on top of a bunch of Corsola, which I hate thinking about.
Right. You can trade for a Corsola here.
They just pry it off the foundation of the town.
But also that Mirage, remember that old man who used to tell you when Mirage Island would appear?
Yes.
He's useless now. He's like a husk.
Yeah.
Because you can just fly with your Eon flute and see the Mirage Islands.
On my way to fly to Route 129, I think it was, to make my way to Pacifidlog Town, I just saw a Mirage Island.
Yeah,
because
I flew to it.
Yeah, I flew to it. What'd you think?
I can't catch anything at any of them. Nothing is on Mrs. Squirt's list.
Yeah.
Very little of it is on Mrs. Squirt's list.
They can be more interesting. I read on Cerebi that there are multiple different variations of an island. But they always have rare Pokemon, an item, and then a hidden item. Mine was a Mirage Mountain, and it was terrible. It had Donphan, Stantler, Forretress, and Kricketune.
Oh, interesting.
The only thing that was good about it was listening to Kricketune's battle cry. And I think I got like
Was that you just imitating it?
Yeah, something like that. Put it in there. I think I did an okay job.
I did a couple of Mirage spots. I did a Mirage Island full of Zebstricas.
That's kind of cute.
Right?
I think that is one of them, yeah. You can look on Cerebi to see what the different iterations are. I did
one that had Porygons, not on the list. I had one that had, I don't remember. I saw a few different iterations, but literally there's nothing that is allowed. Nothing that is allowed by Mrs. Squirt. So
nothing that was compelling enough for me to like reinvent my team. Certainly not.
Yeah, these were useless to me. And then likewise, while we're out here flying around, you see another little Sparkle, and you've been invited to these like weird like portals where former legendary Pokemon pop out of. Or sorry, not pop out of. And it's actually my trainer Danger. When you approach one, it's weird. It's like in a cave, and it's a big like gold hoop with a black hole in it, like a portal.
I didn't see this.
And sorry, I'll explain in a second. It's because you're not a good enough Pokemon player.
Not in this game.
If you approach the portal and you activate it, the following message pops up.
Would you like to put your hand deep in this hole? Yes, no.
Sure.
You do, and you find a Pokemon and you battle it. And they're legendaries from previous generations. And I have activated, and you need to clear certain milestones for them to open up. And I've cleared the milestones for 2 of these. The Pathless Plains, which requires that 3 of my Pokemon have maxed out EVs in one of the EV categories. And the Nameless Cavern, which requires that 3 of my Pokemon have maxed out friendships. And I fed my Pokemon a bunch of candy. So
I feel like I should have at least seen
those things were qualified.
Had that opportunity. Interesting.
And then one of them was full of the like deer, the legendary deers from a couple generations ago.
Oh yeah, the Swords of Justice.
And the other one was full of the little like mixy, flipsy elf spirits.
Lake Guardians, I want to say. Yeah.
None of them are on the list. So none of them are on Mrs. Squirt's list.
I mean, I didn't even have those evaluated, but I never saw an opportunity to go to this place.
Yeah, I guess it's because you're bad at Pokemon, and I'm really good at it.
It's at least 3 Pokemon with 510 EVs on their team. Yeah, I mean, listen, I beat the game. I didn't try my hardest. Sure, I've tried harder in previous generations.
Do you want to talk about the Reggies? Because that's also, now we have access to the Reggies.
I mean,
after this break. Classic. Joshua! The Reggies weren't on Mrs. Squirt's list.
I have nothing to say about them. Regirock was the only one that was on Bobby's list, and I find Regirock unacceptable.
Surprising.
His comment was, of all the rocks, I like this one. Of all the freaky rocks, he's got more nuance to him.
Oh, okay.
I'll see if I can. That. Maybe I can dive into that.
Something kind of organic about him, you know? The others are so, like, angular.
Yeah, at least Regirock is sort of just like a golem.
Yeah.
But it's not for me. I'm not going to have that thing on my team.
Scorch Slab. Sorry, Heatran is not on Mrs. Squirt's list.
Yeah, no. And we've caught same for Bobby, and also we did this. Everybody knows about Heatran. Like, we don't have to go through this stuff. Okay, we got a podcast to make.
Evergrande City. Here we are. We've made it to the Grand Plateau. Wallace gave us access to Waterfall?
Yes.
So we now have Waterfall, which I've trained to whomever,
Waylord?
Because now we also have the whole underwater routes, which are full of love discs and heart scales, and it's just like There's a bounty of riches with heart scales now. I've been training and retraining moves to all my Pokemon at will.
Me too.
So I think I just did train it to Wailord and then go back and untrain it later.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Leader.
Although, well, we'll get to it.
So I climbed that mighty beast all the way to the top of the plateau, and I was at Evergrande City, which isn't much of a city, honestly. It's just a Pokemon Center.
I also do like thinking about Wailord going up a waterfall. That's tough.
Oh, it looks
tough
cool.
to imagine how that works.
It's really a sight.
Yeah, Evergrande City looks better than ever, but it is still a scam of a city. It's a Pokemon Center.
It's a Pokemon Center. I bet it doesn't even have a postal code.
But at least the 3D does justice to Evergrande, and I would say all of Victory Road.
Oh, Victory Road looks good, and
I'm tempted to say it's the best looking one.
Oh.
So far. What was our other previous one that we loved?
Black and White was really good.
Black and White was good. What was the one that, maybe it was Hoenn, and maybe I'm the one who just likes the Hoenn one in general, because I'm pretty sure now that I think about it, it's the first one where it weaves in and out, like inside, outside, and or it could have been Sinnoh, because that one had like snowy peaks and shit. But anyway, I'm a fan of the ones that go interior, exterior. This one goes like up, down, bebopping and scotting everywhere. Like, there's like little grottos inside that have like rich flora and fauna. I thought it was great. Just aesthetically. We can talk about the whole thing.
I thought it sucked, and not because it wasn't fun, but this game, like,
you thought it was ugly?
Kind of like, no, I thought it was beautiful. I thought it looked great. I thought it looked great on every level. There wasn't a part of it where I wasn't visually dazzled.
Okay, good.
Except when I kept getting attacked by Golbats, exclusively Golbats. It felt like at times, because once again, it's like a formerly like historically bountiful region, Victory Road, and this one just didn't have anything. It was like the same like 3 Pokemon over and over again, just like Safari Zone. Like, where's all the talent in this game?
I agree. I do have one Pokemon that I will comment on being talented, but
I know where it all is. It's behind these dang portals, these like sticky portals that it's always getting you to like stick your hands in. I don't want that.
Yank
Put
it
them
back
on
up.
roots.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think this one is perhaps the most aesthetically pleasing Victory Road up to this point, but the thing I don't understand is if you have designed Victory Road to be meandering and indoors and outdoors and have a variety of terrains, should not the Pokemon reflect that? Like, why are we only getting a subset of like 7 different Pokemon and like half of them are just like cave trash, like Golbats and
like
Loudreds?
Things we've seen a million times already. Yeah.
Like, give me some like grass Pokemon. Like, there's plenty of vegetation. Like, there's so many opportunities where it should be so much more diverse, and it doesn't make sense given the environment.
There's not even that many trainers, you know?
No, I'm looking at it now, and I was just trying to count it up. It's like 12 at the most.
Like, it's pretty long. It takes a while.
It took a while.
Boulder puzzles.
10. Just 10.
But it's pretty sparse, both in terms of Pokemon and in terms of... Well, also, I can't catch anything in here. Like...
No, none of this was going to help me. I
think maybe Hariyama was,
but Lairon, because Loudred was dead to me literally, and then I think Aggron. I think that whole line was approved, but I was doing fine with. I didn't have that coverage.
Or I picked up Aggronite somewhere.
Take a quick look at what Mega Aggron looks like.
Probably just looks like
it's just like
hornier.
More, yeah, it's hornier. Exactly. There's one Pokemon that drew my eye.
Oh, please. Here in Victory Road?
Yeah. Ace duo Jude and Rory's Armaldo.
Glad they have that community of support.
I'm going to provocatively bring Armaldo in here. Bobby loved it. I think he commented about how it was sort of surprising.
I like Armaldo because it sounds like armadillo, and I like armadillos, but it's sort of like you made an armadillo sweeter, but also more powerful. And I like that they did both of those things at the same time. It's an armadillo, but cooler, which is hard because armadillos are already cool. Sweeter because he's blue and has a cute little face with his cute little eyes. And his cute little, are they feathers? They're so cute. They're cute. But he looks really intimidating and imposing. He's doing like a trifecta. It's impressive and cool.
And I agree. And once he put it on his list, I've taken more of an eye to it. I think Armaldo's kind of a sweet. Sweet
Who had it
Han.
in their party? Was it Wally or was it
No.
Steven?
Somebody in... I think
it's
Steven
Steve.
had... Well, in the Elite Four, yes. But Ace Duo, Jude and Rory, I think Jude specifically has Armaldo first.
I took on the Elite Four several times, so I think I saw Armaldo a lot. And it's
mayor-
pretty, like,
Mayor cheat.
kind of nice looking.
Yeah, right? It's got...
Just sort of, like, unassuming. He's a little, like, slouchy, which I think makes him sort of seem
looks
approachable.
sly or sort of like a dum-dum, but, like, maybe a lot cleverer than you think.
Yeah, exactly.
Big eyes.
I like it.
It's a good look. I think Armaldo is just a sweetie. And I think we've been overlooking it. And I think that's a benefit of wedlock, you know? I'm not running it. I guess I could, but maybe I will.
would you?
That'd be kind of wild. But Bobby put Armaldo on his list, and I've been thinking about it ever since. And I was like, you know what? That is a sweetie.
Okay.
So,
Last stop, Joshua. The Elite Four.
uh-huh.
So let me tell you about my team in a level check.
Oh, level check. Who you got?
Admiral Squirt is the older, wiser version of my Season 1, Gen 1 character, Mr. Squirt.
Older, at least.
He has risen through the ranks of the... What is that one called? Kanto region Navy. And he's retired to live a quiet seaside life with his wife, Mrs. Squirt. He is building her a menagerie of her favorite Pokemon, and the nefarious, evil, bad Josh is trying to stop it.
You've resurrected
we
that
haven't
subplot.
fully explored. Or
I thought you could have
considered.
just let it die, but you keep bringing it back for some reason.
No, it's important to the plot.
Okay.
He has been catching Pokemon and naming them after things that he and his wife love. And the first is Bluey, Altaria, level 70.
Tried. Jesus. Tried and true.
Mystic, Tentacruel,
Yeah.
level 70.
Uh-huh.
Italian Ice, Don Fan, level 68. Prince Edward, Whale Lord, level 67. Nissan Leaf, Lantern, level 65. Dairy Baby, Mega Sableye, level 65. Josh, 0 losses. I'm like Babe Ruth. I'm like Babe Ruth, and this is a home run season for me.
I guess.
Ever since I lost that Breloom like 5 episodes ago, and I've been just like so cock of the walk. Look at me. I'm never going to lose another Pokemon again. Well, guess what? I didn't. How about you?
Well, I got a couple of comments. Should I levy those comments now?
I'm riding high right now, so
First of all,
choose your words carefully.
unbelievable that Sableye made it to the end of this thing. Did you just not bring it out?
Love this thing. Absolutely love this thing.
I guess you were using it against what's-her-face, who's surprisingly a ghost trainer, Phoebe.
Oh, yeah, Phoebe. She explains that this week. We'll talk about that. I love it. Once it goes Mega, it's a little tougher. It's got some pretty good moves. It's got like a really good... Here's the setup. Is you save it for like the 3rd or 4th spot, and then you do a bunch of like status changes on a tough Pokemon, and then you send it in to do punishment, which is stronger the more status changes the Pokemon is affected by. Not status changes, stat changes.
Okay, yeah.
And he just wails on him, and then he's got dark type moves, he's got ghost type moves, he's got a psychic move. He's a ringer. A little sweetheart. Hides behind his little crystal.
Well, I like
Little
that.
gem.
I like that. I thought he was going to end up being a weakling.
He's the one. He's the one who had the most.
That's why I sort of
real
thought
close calls.
Yeah, if anyone was going to get killed, it was going to be him.
I was also leveling Masquerain, and Masquerain had some very close calls.
I was
Those two are
hoping
the most
that
fragile.
might come back out. Okay, well, Papa Cultura was very successful. Had no deaths on this leg, and I have 6
congratulations.
total for this season, by the way,
Yeah,
which
I
is
have
one
7
less
total.
one less than you. So let's take that into consideration, and then let's take into consideration how the hell could your Pokemon possibly have gotten to those levels in this leg? Because I fought the Elite Four one time and then did the thing right after that we'll talk about, and then I closed my Game Boy because that's what I'm supposed to do. Because the end of the leg is beating the Elite Four and the credits.
Yeah.
So interesting to me that you have level 70, multiple level 70 Pokemon in upper 60s, when I have Stephanie G, Manectric, level 62, Kanye West,
Pathetic.
Gardevoir, level 61, which is Gardevoir, has been bomb. That was so good. I mean, this Pokemon is incredibly good with the Mega Evolution in particular. Madonna, back, Swellow, level 62. I boxed her for most of this leg because I needed to like train up multiple Pokemon in order to hedge for being able to battle you.
Yeah.
And she's got a sweet new moveset too. Channing T, Camerupt, level 62. Kate Winslet, Vileplume is level 53, and I only deployed her twice because it was still leveling. And then I boxed Wailord to bring back Ezra Miller, Cacturn.
Ugh, Joshua.
Level 62, uncancelled.
God.
Because I found out that it could learn Brick Break, and then I had type coverage for Fighting, Dark, Grass. It's sweet.
Ugh.
Unfortunately. Also, I was trying to keep it alive specifically to battle you, which we will be doing next episode, because...
We're not going to battle because Josh has shaky cartoon knees.
Mayor cheat! I mean, how many times did you fight the Elite Four? How about you say that on the record?
10, maybe.
That's illegal.
That's what I was doing when you were on all your vacations, Joshua.
I wasn't on a vacation in the past week! I've been sitting around in my damn house just like you, and this is a Mayor cheat allegation that I will stand by. The leg is you complete the Elite Four
I played
and
through
the
the
credits,
Elite Four
and
like
then that's
10 times.
it. You close it after that. It's
you had me on
open
level
season
so hard
after
last
this. Then you can just keep
all right,
running
well, I
them.
started open season a little
And you
early.
beat me when I was higher levels last week, so it doesn't make any damn sense.
Slap the cuffs on. I started open season a week early.
Lock them up.
Yeah, I did play through the Elite Four several times.
Well, I'll say...
Because I wanted to level up all my Pokemon. In my defense, I wanted to level up all my Pokemon to be stronger than your Pokemon, and it fucking worked. So, mission accomplished.
Yeah, but they're so much higher that we're not even going to battle because it's like...
George Bush
What's the point?
on that aircraft carrier. How'd you do with the Elite Four? Let's talk about the Elite Four.
Crushed.
Fucking Pokemon League looks great.
Oh, it looks so
There's
good.
this sense of scale, you know?
Everything looks
huge.
so grandiose, and you
There's these
like...
little pathways that go through all the like trainer rooms, the gym leader rooms.
Yeah, they all have a long path.
And as you're walking down them, they like come to life.
And the camera will like zoom down to like make it like first person. But the zoom in is very elegant, where it goes from like
it looks so
more top down to like proper third person, like RPG style, where you're just like walking right up to
And the
room.
places, like, they light up as you approach them. The doors swing open, and you walk into the first one, and
There
there's
might
this,
be
like,
snow or petals.
you walk into the first one. It's sort of shaped like a karate dojo, and you walk in, and there's just an absolute fucking clown sitting there. He's got like a little chair, and he's like leaning back on it, like he's like, oh, I'm definitely not posing. No, I definitely wasn't just sitting here waiting for you to walk in that door. His name is Sydney. He's the fighting type trainer.
Yeah.
And he's a fucking joke.
I mean,
just
my strategy
him.
with all of the ones that I could not remember what their type was, because aside from a couple of them, like...
So they throw you off a little bit because you approach
Yeah.
this place and it looks like a fighting gym.
Right.
But it's not a fighting. Did I just say it's a fighting gym?
No, I don't remember. What I was saying was
Sydney is not a fighting type trainer. He is a dark type trainer.
So my strategy for when I couldn't remember or wasn't obvious is I just opened with Swellow, because Swellow knows U-turn now. And it's like, well, Swellow could probably take out whatever it is, but if not, just U-turn out of there. In this
Swellow
case,
could
it was
take out a lot of these.
Mighty Ina, and it did fucking Brave Bird all over that bullshit.
The next two are grass types, Shiftry and Cacturn, who I'm sure Swellow can make short work of.
Swellow stayed in for most of this, other than Sharpedo and Absol, which were...
They're all just pathetic. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't even think I paid attention to who I sent in. It was probably Tentacruel, probably just tanked the whole thing.
Sydney's a hack. Like, Sydney's like
Dark type.
Bruno, where it's a fighting, like, but
Fighting
just
and
as
dark
bad.
type are always the worst.
It's just like,
Why bother?
Why don't you just give up? I mean, how did you get here? 2 grass dark types? What are you talking about?
I mean, I don't have any fire or anything. I do have poison.
Yeah,
which
but
does a
that'll
lot of
get you
damage.
through.
Oh, also, toxic spikes during these like Elite Four battles are so clutch.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah.
Like immediately laying 2 of those, and I have bright powder on Tentacruel, so that like their opening hits miss all the time, so I can always get 2 toxic spikes down. Oh, I've got this figured out. I got this down to a fucking art, Joshua.
No more
Anyway.
matchup mayhem for you for this season.
Phoebe is next, and her little room is full of spooky ghosts. It's very spooky.
Even though you think I forgot. In fact, I was fooled once again, where I was like, "Oh yeah, water." Because she's got,
of course, she's like a beach bum.
Yeah, and she's not.
She explains why. I don't remember if she did explain why in Gen 3 or not. And it's because she does all her training at Mount Pyre and has like learned how to communicate with the spirits from her time on Mount Pyre. That checks out.
Sure, she's part of that whole conspiratorium, probably with Safari Zone and Mount Pyre, I presume.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I like her vibe. You know,
the meat grinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's cool. Her Pokemon suck, and I beat her really easily.
This was a
kind of the story of the Elite Four for me.
Mega Gardevoir swept. Shadow Ball, Shadow Ball, Shadow Ball, Shadow Ball, Shadow Ball. Bing, bong. All dead. 1 hit.
Yes. Mega Sableye swept. Shadow Ball, Shadow Ball, Shadow Ball, Shadow Ball. Dead. All 1 hit.
Wow, even Sableye pulled that off? Pretty good.
Well, they were also all poisoned. So that doesn't hurt. Yeah, it's a joke. They all suck. She has 2 Bennettes. I just don't even get, like, the Elite Four is just so lazy. Like, at least Sydney had 5 different Pokemon. Like, Phoebe has 2 Bennettes, a Dusclops and a Dusknoir. Lazy. And then fucking Glacia, who's next. We both creamed Sydney. Glacia's next. I don't know what it is about Glacia. She seems racist. She has 2 Glalie and 2 Frostlasses.
I could see it.
And then a Walrein.
It's just...
You're in the Elite Four, lady!
It's just outrageous at this stage in the game. I know we ranted about this in X and Y. We've ranted about it for a while, but like there are so
You're in the Elite Four.
Many Pokemon, and the National Dex is open. It already opened prior to the Elite Four in this game. Why the fuck would you ever have 2 of the same Pokemon? Multiple of you, and not 6 also. What's happening?
None of you have 6. And then the last one is Drake, who's remains as cool as ever with his dragon type.
Cool
Pokemon.
And sexy as hell.
But Altaria had the
trainer banger.
Moonblast, and just moonblasted her way through all of them.
Oh yeah, this was Gardevoir again. Dazzling Gleam, all of it. 2 Flygons in this day and age. Can you imagine?
No, I can't.
Like one of them knows Supersonic. What are you talking about?
They also like
55%. You're the top. You should be the best dragon trainer in Hoenn, at least.
Drake
Embarrassing.
Almost did foil me because I laid down my toxic spikes, of course, but only one of his Pokemon is susceptible to it, Kingdra, and the other all.
Oh yeah, that was a waste.
Levitate or our flying type Pokemon, but the like Salamence came out, his like big heavy hitter, and I was like, oh, finally Salamence will get poisoned. But he didn't. But they didn't bother animating him as flying. Like he's off the ground, but they didn't like give him a hover animation. He's just sort of like levitating. It's very lazy.
That also reminded me, and I just did a double take on it because I was like, wait a second, how the hell were all the ghost types of Phoebes affected by toxic spikes? But apparently it does affect ghosts. That's very surprising.
All, like, went down.
Very surprising that a ghost can be poisoned by spikes that are on the ground, but okay.
Yeah. That's a good tip for ghost hunters.
Yeah.
And then it's on to Steven Stone, the champion of the Hoenn region.
Better than ever. I was so pleased. And Papa Cultura too, because you know, he has face blindness, so he's pretty pleased to see anybody. But all the zoom ins on Steven, Hachi Machi.
It felt like his team was specifically designed to be very beatable by my team. Like I had an answer for almost everything. His mega Metagross was like a pretty heavy hitter.
I didn't have any trouble with that.
I had an answer for everything. His big Skarmory went down to my Lantern. Claydol went down to Sableye. Aggron went down to Surf, I think. Credilli went down. Yeah, I think Tentacruel took out like half his team.
Yeah, I mean, in my case, Camerupt was MVP. Fire or ground moves took care of literally everyone on this team. The only one I brought in separate was Claydol. I brought in Cacturn for that one.
Did you get your Camerupt?
Oh, Camerupt's not available. It's post-game. Isn't that annoying?
What? Gross.
You get it
What's
during the
point of it,
fucking
then?
Delta episode that we're about to play through. But
Yeah,
I
we're
didn't
gonna do the
even
Delta episode next.
didn't even need it. Camerupt is a beautiful Pokemon.
Gross.
I'm
Listen
doubling
to the
down.
words you're saying. Oh, you're so gross.
Camerupt took out 5 out of 6 of Steven's
You're saying
Pokemon.
such gross things. You wake up, it was all a dream. It's like you win, and you go into the Pokemon Hall of Fame, and then you walk out.
Well, I
and,
do
like,
want to just say one thing first, is that right after you beat Steven, May rushes in, and she's trying to get there before you take on Steven, and she's like, Papa Cultura, I want to give you a little bit of advice.
Yeah.
Oh, she's not Italian. I want to give you a little advice before you take on the champion. So May, and I'm like, May, what qualifies you to even be here? Like, what advice is this woman giving me?
Yeah.
She's been
There's
crushed
nothing
at
you can tell me
every
that I don't already
turn.
know. You're a joke to me.
And Steven doesn't allow her to go into the Hall of Fame with us, which I prefer.
No. So then she watches us go into the Hall of Fame, like this secret back room ceremony. And we come out and she's like, okay, now fight me. It's like, are you sure? Did you just see what happened? I'm the champion of the Hoenn region. And I crushed her.
Yeah, there's you do the credits and then it fades back up to like the original intro video and May's like, "Can I ask you one more thing, Papa Cultura? I'd like to see what you and your Pokemon experienced on your journey. And then
Gross. You're saying it in such a
I can
gross
show
way.
you me and mine." No, she does that
Yuck.
though, and she's looking sensually at you, and I'm like, this is very inappropriate. I don't care what age anyone is, so I crushed her. The only Pokemon that got any move off at all was her Wailord used a feeble bulldoze on Manectric, and it did like 20 damage.
I would like to say something about one of her Pokemon.
Oh, I do. I have a comment as well.
All right, let's say it. Let's say it on the count of 3.
Okay.
It's my 1, 2, 3.
You make me barf Pokemon of the week. Mega Blaziken.
It's so gross. Ugh, it's like it grows more balls and the balls turn red and then it turns its back to you, so you have to look at the balls all over its back. Yeah. No, thank you.
I'm looking
It's
at
like
it.
they heard me. It's like they heard me say like I hate the Sceptile's character design because it's got these weird balls on its back, and they're like, "Oh, you don't like it? Here's Mega Sceptile. It's got even more balls." And
How
now you
about
have to look
more
at them.
balls? Oh, I don't like it either.
Yeah, it sucks.
They're giant. They're bigger too, and they're different colors.
Yeah, they're like engorged.
Yeah,
They're like swollen, like turning red.
like somebody help this Sceptile out. And then look at this Mega Blaziken. You seen this fucking mess?
No, I would love to though. Ugh, it looks like a clown. It looks like it has like
It's
a
a clown.
jester's like.
It's like one of those clowns on stilts.
Yeah.
Like they just made Blaziken taller and they gave it more dumb crap all over it and like more disgusting talons and bigger feet.
Yeah, they look stupid.
Man, they busted that up. Wait, let's look at Mega Swampert just because we've already covered 2 of them.
He
now.
looks, I mean, he's the only one of the 3 of them that doesn't look absolutely stupid, but they do give him like big balls. Like
It's
they give him like
engorged.
big lumps.
Yeah, it's all engorged. Least bad.
I think he's the
definitely
least bad.
least bad. Easily.
All right, Joshua, that's it. That's Gen 6. We've destroyed it. We've beaten it. We've beaten the Elite Four. We've beaten May, our rival. We've embarrassed her publicly by talking about how ugly her Pokemon are. And now it's time for us to move on. We're going to come back next week and do our Chasing Waterfalls episode. Wallace gave us access to waterfalls, and now we have the Eon Flute, and we can essentially go anywhere in space-time.
We'll resolve
We're gonna go
whatever
chase some waterfalls.
this Delta episode is.
There's something I've been quietly doing in the background, Joshua, this whole time. And by this whole time, I mean the last 10 weeks. And it's playing Pokemon Go.
Well, I've been playing that as well. And I'm going to save my comments on it.
We've beaten this game. Next, we're going to go beat Pokemon Go, and then we're going to play Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
So get your carts ready for that.
And should we, just to say, we've heard the chatter online. We're not going to play Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon back to back, but one of us will be playing each of them concurrently. And we will comment the first ever for experience share. So pick your poison, and we will you will be able to play along with us.
It was sort of an art for us deciding on who got to play what, but what it came down to was I think the bat on the cover of Pokemon Moon is really ugly. But I think that the lion on the cover of Pokemon Ultra Sun is even uglier. So I'm going to go with Moon, and you're going to go with Ultra Sun. But
Okay.
Bugcatchers, you have access to all 4 games, whatever tickles your fancy.
Yeah, all right.
All right, so ahead of you, Chasing Waterfalls next week, and the Delta episode of ORAS. Then our finale for Pokemon Go. Oh, I'm going to destroy...
With a special guest, too, presumably.
Yes. And then we will be on to Moon and Ultra Sun.
That's it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
I wonder what kind of guy I'm going to do for Moon.
Me too.
I guess we'll have to see. Joshua, I have nothing else to say to you tonight. I will see you in the battle arena next week. Pokemon
I will
Showdown.
see you there. And
But for now, I'm going to say goodbye to you, and I'm going to say goodbye to the Bugcatchers. Goodbye.
smell you later.
I'm eating a Twix.
It's not best practices for recording to be eating Twix.
Hungry. Bought a bag of Halloween candy.
Oh, yeah. I guess Bobby mentioned he loves candy corn, and he went on some rant about it. And now we have like 6 bags of fucking candy
hot
corn
button
and the pumpkin one. I actually like the pumpkin one more, which I think is even more controversial.
I don't mind candy corn, but ever since this controversy started, like if I need to be on one side of the war, I think it's going to be not candy corn.
Oh, I'm definitely anti.
Yeah.
If I'm pressed, then I'll go pumpkin before I'll go candy corn. But I don't want to be involved with any of it.
All right, let's go.
Okay.